Here's something totally silly, using the blue slime from Dragon Quest as a Pokémon in Fire Red. Don't ask how to hack the ROM, you can find everything you need on Google. Its base stats are based on the growth tables used in Monsters 2 on Game Boy Color. Generally, a higher index number means a higher growth rate, but there are exceptions. 12, 15, and 18 are some of the highest, while 19 and 20 are among the worst. Since the blue slime doesn't use any of those special tables, I just used its indices times 5 as base stats, and MP is used as special defense for convenience. So, it has 110 HP, 70 attack, 85 defense, 65 special attack, 55 special defense, and 55 speed. Its moves are based on the Slimer skill set in Terry's Wonderland 3D. Frizz is Ember, Zap is Thunder Shock, and so on. It can learn Magic Burst in the original game, which is a Fire Breath skill in 3D, so Blast Burn seems appropriate. I gave it all the fire and electric TMs, plus some generic ones that most Pokémon can learn. Rock Slide is just there for some physical coverage. All the basic solo run rules apply. No switching in battle, no bag items, no cheats, and no hidden power due to its luck-based nature. It will have perfect IVs and pre-applied EVs for consistency. I gave it a neutral nature, since natures are pointless when I can just edit the base stats directly. Clear Body seems to be the obvious ability for it, and it makes up for its mediocre stats. Max EVs in special attack and speed, because all fire and electric moves are special in Gen 3. As for its typing, the neutral type seems the most fitting, since the blue slime doesn't really have any weaknesses or resistances in the original game. This means all attacks deal neutral damage to it, and in return, it doesn't benefit from stab. I could give it the normal type, but that would make its moves like Secret Power and Double Edge too powerful. A fighting weakness doesn't mean much when all Gen 1 fighting types are terrible. The lab battle is a free win, since the slime has a ton of HP. Although HP is its only good stat, its other stats are still decent enough compared to basic Pokémon. All I can use against Brock is Ember, but that's good enough because both of his Pokémon have abysmal special defense, and my physical defense is actually great for this stage of the game. By the way, Sand Attack is there because the Slimer set has Dazzle Flash that lowers accuracy. Flash is an HM in this gen, and I don't want to be stuck with it until Fuchsia City. Beating Brock gives me the TM for Rock Tomb, which I allowed the slime to learn. I'm probably not going to use it, since it's awful in this gen, with only 50 power and 80% accuracy. The blue slime has a slow level up rate in the original game, so I put it in the 1.25 million experience group. This prevents it from getting too overleveled early on. The second rival battle is easy when Clear Body makes me immune to his Pidgeotto's Sand Attack, which could cause a lot of headaches in a solo run, especially when you are relying on inaccurate moves. I have Thunder Shock for Misty, although Takedown probably does more damage. Takedown instead of Body Slam because Body Slam works differently in Dragon Quest. It basically trades HP with the target, and there's no equivalent move in Gen 3. Misty gives the Water Pulse TM, which will be useful later. TMs aren't reusable in this gen, so I'll have to save it for when I actually need it. The ship fight is a joke, since the rivals team is way too underleveled. The Slimer set in TW3D doesn't have Frizzle or Zapple, but I gave it Flame Wheel as a Tier 2 fire move anyway. You can't buy Fire Blast in this version, and moves like Fire Pledge and Mystical Fire didn't exist yet. I also gave it Spark as a level up move, but stronger moves like Thunderbolt and Flamethrower will require TMs. One downside of Flame Wheel and Spark is that they make physical contact, even though they are still classified as special moves. This means they can trigger abilities like Static and Poison Point. Surge is clearly the worst gym leader in the game, with a laughably underleveled team. They should have given him a level 28 Raichu like in the yellow version, instead of these pushovers. I guess things could get annoying if he manages to paralyze you and set up double team, but in a normal playthrough, you can catch a level 31 Dugtrio and one-shot everything on his team. Also, instead of Thunderbolt, he only gives Shockwave in the remakes. I don't know if I'll need it. The rival fight in the tower is always easy in a solo run, since you will be overleveled from all those unskippable trainers along the way. I learned Rock Slide in the tunnel just to have a physical move. There aren't many good physical TMs in this game, at least not until the post-game. It doesn't make sense to give a blob moves like Brick Break and Earthquake, so Rock Slide will have to do for physical coverage. The first Giovanni fight reveals a problem. I don't have anything good against rock and ground types, and I need to save the Water Pulse TM for later. But since his team is still at a low level, with terrible special defense, Flame Wheel does the job for now. Flame Wheel also does the job against Erika's team of grass types. She gives the Giga Drain TM, but I didn't make it compatible, and Giga Drain is pretty bad in this gen anyway, with only 60 power and 5 PP. The Poison Gym presents a big level bump, and I skipped most of the trainers on the cycling road. I could just learn the Psychic TM and make Koga a piece of cake, but I might have to save it for the Elite Four, namely Bruno and Agatha. I have decent physical defense and recover, so I can always stall until his Pokémon blow themselves up with self-destruct or explosion. I need to equip a berry to heal Toxic though, since it does more damage over time. Getting regular poison is actually good for me, since it means that I can't get hit by Toxic anymore. His wheezing can't do more than half to me even after poison damage, so I can just heal and bait out its explosion. But it seems like the AI won't actively use Explosion on its last Pokémon. Or perhaps his wheezing doesn't know Explosion at all in this version? The Sylph rival battle can be pretty hard in a solo run, especially if you can't one-shot his Pidgeot, because of its sand attack. Thankfully, Clear Body makes me immune to it, and I can always learn the Shockwave TM to bypass accuracy checks. Maybe I should have learned it anyway, but it's useless in the upcoming Giovanni fight, and I need Blast Burn for damage before getting the Fire Blast TM. I don't know why his Blastoise is still using Water Gun at level 40, when there's the Water Pulse TM from the second gym. Maybe they didn't bother giving him any TM moves until the champion fight. The second Giovanni fight is much harder than the first, since he now has a level 42 Nidoqueen that has a lot of HP, and my offensive stats are quite mediocre for this stage of the game. I think I really should have taught Water Pulse at this point, since I won't need a fire move anymore until the last two rival battles, and there's still Fire Blast from Blaine. Luckily, the ability to heal myself allowed me to slowly chip away at his team. But my low attack stats and lack of stab is really starting to show. There are no offensive Dark-type TMs in Gen 3, or any Bug-type TMs at all, and I forgot where the Shadow Ball TM is in this game. But since Sabrina's team has awful physical defense, Rock Slide should still do the job. She gives the TM for Calm Mind, which I allowed the slime to learn, since many blob-like Pokémon can learn it. I will definitely need it for the Elite Four. I was saving the Water Pulse TM for Blaine and Giovanni's gym battles. I should probably have taught it Rain Dance as well, but again, I forgot where its TM is in this game. I have pretty bad special defense, and his Arcanine can two-shot me with Fire Blast. Water Pulse without Rain or Stab definitely won't do half to him, but I can always stall out his PP by using Recover. Blaine gives the TM for Fire Blast, which I suppose is the equivalent of Kafrizzle. I'll likely use it to replace Blast Burn, since it doesn't need a turn to recharge. For the Giovanni gym fight, Water Pulse should be all I need. All of his Pokémon know Earthquake, but I have plenty of HP and decent defense, plus Recover. He gives the TM for Earthquake, but it makes no sense for a blue blob to learn it. It won't be much good for the Elite Four anyway, when most of Agatha's team is immune to it. I changed my moves a bit for the rival battle before the league. Water Pulse has outlived its usefulness, and Blast Burn is just too clunky to use. I learned Shockwave for now to deal with his Pidgeot and Blastoise, but I'll go grab the Thunder or Thunderbolt TM later. Fire Blast is good enough to deal with his Rhyhorn, and Rock Slide can deal with his Alakazam. Here are my stats for the league, which aren't great, to put it mildly. I won't need a fire move anymore, so I'll replace it with Calm Mind. Lorelai's Dugong likes to set up Hail first, so I'll use it to set up Calm Mind. This should allow me to easily sweep her team with Thunderbolt, which is equivalent to Kazap. I don't need Rock Slide anymore either, and I need something to hit Bruno's ground types, so I'll use the Psychic TM here. Again, many normal type and blob-like Pokémon can learn it, so it makes sense on the slime. Bruno's first Onix is just a setup fodder, since I can't be slowed by its Rock Tomb thanks to Clear Body. Psychic can easily sweep his team after a couple of Calm Mind boosts. Agatha's entire team is Poison type, so as long as I don't get confused or hit by Toxic, this should be another easy win. Her level 58 Ganger outspeeds me and knows Hypnosis, but it only has 60% accuracy in this version, and I should still have my Lum Berry for it. Ice Beam is another generic coverage TM a lot of normal types and blobs can learn, and it will be my answer to Lance, as well as the rivals Rhydon and Executor. Lance's Gyarados is another good setup fodder, since all it knows are attacking moves. They should have given it Thunder Wave or Dragon Dance to prevent easy setups. His Aerodactyl obviously outspeeds me, but what can it do? Continuing the theme, the rival's Pidgeot is yet another setup fodder, with its only damaging move being the weak Aerial Ace. Its Sand Attack and Feather Dance could be deadly though, if not for my Clear Body ability. Come to think of it, maybe Clear Body is too good an ability for the slime. But again, it does compensate for its rather poor stats, lack of stab, and weak moves during most of the early to mid-game. Plus, this run was just a silly idea I came up with, not to be taken seriously. By the way, a blue slime can actually beat Terry's Wonderland 3D and Joker 3 all on its own, as well as Joker 2 with some exploitation of its terrible game mechanics. So, it definitely deserves some respect here. I'll probably do another run with a different Dragon Quest monster, maybe one that's more gimmicky or truly awful. The metal slime comes to mind, but unfortunately, it won't work here since its signature gimmick is elemental immunity. There's no ability to immunize or even protect against all special attacks in Pokémon, and Wonder Guard is just too overpowered on something that can have more than 1 HP. Anyway, that's it for this silly run. I'll see what I can come up with later. Thanks for watching.